Hello and welcome parents and guardians of AP Environmental students for the 2020-2021 year here at Northgate High School. I'm very excited for this year and for your students to be involved in this journey, learning about our environment and how humans interact with it. A little bit about myself. I am from the area. I grew up in a small town called Canyon. I actually just recently moved back to that small town with my wife and our two kids. We have a 5-year-old and a 20-month-old. So really excited to get to come back and walk on the same trails I walked as a kid and find some of the same bugs and critters and get to share that experience with my kids and watch them um, explore the woods just like I did. And that really is for me where my love of nature started and really what's still the most important connection to me to nature is just actually getting out and seeing it. So that is something I hope to share with the students. I continued to be interested in biology through high school. I went to Camp Lindo High School and then on to Reed College in Portland, Oregon, where I studied population science and looked at salamanders. So continued my love of those critters, and then a long journey has finally brought me here. 16 years now in this school at Northgate, and just really happy to be part of this community. The science department is great. I love the people that I work with and the fact that we all share a passion for science and bringing that to the kids. So some expectations for this year. I expect that students are going to learn environmental science. Whether or not they take the AP exam, they're going to be prepared for the AP exam. It may look a little different this year, but we're going to get prepared for it. And so that's a big part of the course. But of course, for me, the larger issue is understanding that we do have a complex relationship with nature and with the environment, and the more we can understand that and start to make our relationship better, to mend areas where we're off of the sustainable path, then that's ultimately the goal. And so I do think that that's something that students will have a chance to experience, that sort of maybe frustration at seeing how things are going, and a desire to change things. So it's a science course, but it's also a social justice course, and that's something that the more I've taught it, the more I've realized that you cannot leave that component out and really do justice to the topic. So that's and this year no different than any other year, although I think there's always things that we can look at and say this is why this course is important. We do talk about emerging diseases, for example, and that's something that is obviously pretty important right now. We also talk about climate change. That's something else that's pretty important right now. So never a bad time to talk about this, but I think this year is going to be one of the most important years in terms of the content and what it means to the students. The expectations in terms of the course, so far I'm seeing that students are showing up on a daily basis, and I would love for that to be the way that this course goes. And I do have plans if students aren't able to show up, but what it looks like right now is I'm getting most students every day, and that's great. If that continues, then that's going to make things a little bit easier for everybody. But if it turns out that there are times when students can't show up for the live class, then there's ways for them to make that up. However, the best way to make sure that your student is doing well is to get them into that live class every session, and make sure that they're keeping up with the work as well. Google Classroom is really where the work will be hosted, and that's where you will also find the course policies and the pacing guide for each unit as we come up to each new topic. The book that we're using is the textbook that was assigned. It's a good reference. It is 8 to 10 years out of date, and that means that we do have to make sure we're getting information from other sources as well. But in terms of some of the basic terminology and some of the basic information, it's still very helpful. So I will have students read on average about a chapter a week and take notes, and then we'll have quizzes and assessments to follow. So most of the work will be done through Google Classroom. All the assignments will be posted on there, and then assessments will be done through either work turned in directly through Google Classroom or through the AP Central site, which students are just getting onto this week. Lastly, for contact, email is definitely the best way to contact me. That would be carlislew@mdusd.org. So that's the best contact. And for just again the goals for the year, I really do want students to experience a journey on the path to having a better understanding about this topic. And that's one where I do hope that students have a chance to reflect on their own ideas and maybe change some of their ideas. And that's something that I will share with students and with the community, that my own views are always changing, and they're not the most important things in this class, but I do have that perspective of seeing how some things that I thought for certain 5 years ago this was the way it was, or 10 years ago this is the way things are headed, there are surprises out there. And so it's really, I think, a course in which it demands that we keep our minds open and listen to the various voices that are out there and the different perspectives, and continue to strive to have a better and more complete understanding of humans' role in the environment. All right, thank you, and I hope to see you at the meeting on Thursday night. And if not, I hope to talk to you at some point during this year and get to actually see you face to face, maybe later, if things all work out well. All right, thank you.